has 19 museums, believes that collections, tours, personal contact of the American public and the international public with objects, exhibits, and people are significant, that new media alone will not suffice, then it will be very hard, I think, for us to really avoid coming to grips with the kinds of growth in wealth, size, and political clout and pressure that will be coming from this community.
Those traditions is something that we have to do through our research, through our museum exhibitions, through our collections and archives, our documentation, and so on. If we're going to present a real record of both American and world cultures. I think that sometimes it has to be said over and over again, but that indeed is part of the human experience, it's part of the American experience. It will continue to change and evolve, and I think as Franklin pointed out, demographically this is part of other changes that are going on in our country. And the Smithsonian, if it's going to be what it pretends to be, will have to be represented. I think the attention to Asian Pacific Americans has been very stunted at the Smithsonian. It's taken a long time to change. If you went into some of our museums even 2 decades ago or 3 decades ago, that's why the Smithsonian FolkLife Festival began. It was because our representation of Americans, of American culture, of even world cultures was very narrow and very slim. And the idea was, okay, if we couldn't get it done in the museums right away, let's do it outside on the mall. And different groups can be represented. And that's why over the last 44 years, you've seen people from, over 100 different countries, every region of the United States, various ethnic and cultural groups, so people can have their say and show what their culture means to them and what it means to the rest of us. And I think that's been a good
institution. Now that you have a building where you put objects in it, and this is where we document history. That I think is a good model. But we also have to recognize that who we put in there is something that we have yet to begun to grapple with. I think that how we put those things inside that building is something which we remain without a language to describe, without a vision to fully adopt, so that we are doing it justice, right? When we think about this is going to be part of the American experience. So I'm not convinced fully that a building is where we should go, although a building is obviously very useful, and especially on hot days like this, and we have air conditioning and a cafeteria. But I'm more concerned about how we can use the Asian Pacific American experience as an example for how we talk about what is American. And as I mentioned, it's something which has a history that is both rooted in the civil rights discourse. It's one in which is rooted in globalization. It's one that's rooted in new technologies that empower us to be at the center of those worlds.